Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 5 of the SRL TCR League here on this wonderful Friday night of racing, the premium Friday night TCR League on all of iRacing and in sim racing. Welcome. This is a Silverstone Legacy 2008 GP layout, a fearsome, challenging, taxing circuit, but also presents some very good overtaking opportunities, some good slipstreaming and some good drafting for all of your combatants tonight. The 17 turns that it represents the circuit are by no means easy. They offer their own different challenges in different ways, and we'll see someone on board during the qualifying session with some of the drivers who we expect to be on board with. We get ourselves set up here for the end of practice. But first, after last week's Mid-Ohio Titanic battle, that was in pretty much all the divisions, controversy, fast racing, it had it all last week, and I'm pretty sure this week's Silverstone leg will also provide the same action for you all. A lot of drivers will be rating this as their local track, as their home track, but also a few of the foreign contingents might well be driving this for the first time as an unknown track. We shall find out as the race goes on. It's certainly a track you don't have a lot of time to learn on, with every lap around 2 minutes long. You see the conditions that we've got there today. It's 20 degrees air temperature, which is around 25 degrees on track currently. 55% humidity. There is no rain in what is looking a bit of a cloudy race so far. A nice bit of wind behind of 5 kilometers an hour. It's going to be a nice, really nice conditions for racing. So hopefully the action will match what is being prepared. But first, as always, we need to set the scene. How does the championships look going into this qualifying session? Let's bring them up for you. Logan McKinsey is the man sitting on top of the pile in the Pro division. As always, yes, SRL TCR League has 3 divisions for its drivers: the Pro, the Pro-Am and the AMs. And every league is very, very tight. You may think 123 points, which is Logan's lead there over R. Fertile, is a big lead, but it can quickly become nothing in a matter of 1 week if your races do not go your way. John Brown is currently occupying a 3rd place, with Tom Woodcock doing well in 4th and Delmont in 5th. Disappointed with probably a couple of his races this season where he hasn't scored any points. Sven Winter in his 3rd race this season. He'll be looking to climb that ladder up the top of towards the pros with his 9KI racing. We've got Gabriel Bonacorsi. We haven't seen him for a couple of rounds now. He's not here. Neither is Dan Mould. Neither is Jake Corley. Wayne Douglas returns to the track tonight. Keen to get some points. He's raced a lot, but hasn't had much go his way for his combative style there with 130 points. And a few names as we scroll down there for Zachary Liebold, Alacon, Alex Murphy and Robbie Callahan, who we've yet to see for a few races. That's how they look in the pros, but the Pro-Ams is where the championship is super tight. Cooper Akers has given us a little bit of a lead there, 42 points over Craig Walters, but really is behind him where the action is tight, with Daniel Lewis 264, JB Dejay 260, Neil Stevenson 248, Mikhail Pashik 247 and Kevela 245. Tony Walker with a week behind is actually only on 223, so he's in prime position to jump some places up with a good run of results. Hopefully over these 2 rounds that can do for him. Dick Crowther, perennial driver, perennial favourite, some people would say, always lurking, 184 points and a couple of retirements and races which haven't scored points. Same for his teammate Stuart Gibbons, also in 10th place. Never to be not underperformed, but never to be understated, those 2 drivers. They can put the pace in when it matters, and hopefully we'll see that around here, which I'm sure will suit their tracks. Dick Crowther is in a different car tonight compared to his normal car of the Audi. He is in the Honda Civic. Lewis Delmont, Fraser Elphick, Matt Downs, Luke Jones, and the new name of Clayton McBuller takes the track tonight. Keen to make an impression, no doubt, there for Clayton. in the AMS, it is getting really contested as well. There's a couple of new names popping in again over the last 2 weeks, strengthened up the AM division. Paul Purley on 172 points, Scott Malcolm right behind and 8 points behind on 164. Jack David hasn't raced for a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll see him back soon on 92. Andy Littler picked up 49 at Mid-Ohio. Good start to him. And the Serps and Dick Scottley into 5th place. We haven't seen Darren Saunders and Chris Barnes for a few rounds, so hopefully we'll see them towards the season goes on. The new name of Mark Kelly, who everyone will know from the Limited Edition TCR League, is taking to the track there for his debut in the AMS. As the scoring's a little bit weird there. But as always, it's not just an individual league in the different divisions. There is the teams. Wow. It really doesn't like that, does it, when you do that? Let's just refresh you. There we go. The teams. SRL Green of Dan Lewis and John Brown out front by 38 points. That's not a big lead at all. The team of JS Room, headed up by Neil Stevenson and Cooper Akers, are right there behind him. But they're also being pushed by the JS Tryhards of Kevin and Tom Woodcock at 523. The single driver team of Altitude Esports of Alpha Fertile 365 and Blade Designs at 346 will be very keen to jump their car up with their 2-driver outfit. Next Gen Green are not taking to the track tonight. They're down in 6th place. Definitely more points in the bag for them between Lewis and Adam Delmont. Just have a simulation of the Pretenders on the 222 points. So 3 little ducks. That is of Paul Hurley and Matthew Downs. So we haven't seen Matt Downs for a while. So Paul Hurley carrying the flag there. Lumen Motorsport, Scott Malcolm and Luke Jones. We've seen Luke Jones in the first couple of races. Then we've seen Scott Malcolm for the next 2 races. Round 5 it is going to be Scott. But gets some good points on the board there. And then Shearer Esport with 212. Also a single driver outfit ahead of the single driver team of North Sim Racing on 199 points. That's how the pros look. Oops, I've just flicked the wrong button there. So that's how the teams look. Well, I've got pros from because I read the wrong thing as always. But qualifying is just getting underway. We're going to jump down to the drivers as they head out of pit road. For you all, as we just get some of the screens up. Nothing too much to happen. It's a long lap here, so it's 17 corners, about 2 minutes long. So you've really got to make your qualifying count here because it will go quickly. One bad mistake, one off track, one contact, and all of a sudden you are playing catch up, which is not what people want to be doing, to be fair. Okay, we'll just jump on board with a few drivers just hustling their way around. There's Logan McKinsey, Sven Winter right behind him. This is just the out lap for everybody, so you'll see some cars just trying to get some better position on track. Logan McKinsey going, yeah, don't fancy that if I'm not around me. There's Clayton McBuller for his debut on track, following Scott Malcolm round as they go round the club hairpin chicane. What is now the new start-finish line, the Hamilton Straight. We won't be calling that during this race because it's not the Hamilton Straight. As everyone starts to ramp up the speed towards the end of the lap, we see Dan Lewis following Fraser Elphick there. Sorry, Wayne Douglas, sorry. Craig Walters right behind. Heading the top of this little group of cars is Dick Crowther in his new Honda for this season, making a change from the Audi to the Honda. There's one car change, allowed per season. Just in case people do realise that I've chosen the wrong choice there. And Craig Walters is joined on board in the 666. Now, it's going to be interesting to see who does what. So we're going to jump on board with a couple of drivers and see how their laps go. We're going to jump on board first with Scott Malcolm as he comes around Cops. This is the opening corner of the lap. So 17 corners. We'll sit on board him for this lap. We'll go and talk you through the sequence of corners into Maggots and Beckett's now. This is always tricky to get it right. 5th gear entrance in, keep a nice pace of air. 4 for down to 3rd. Use as much curb as you dare through all of his corners. This one is Beckett's. We're going to go to this fast left-hander, which is Chapel. It's important you get those sequences right because you have to use that speed all the way down the straight. And the hangar straight is the longest straight on this layout for everybody to master. Into Stowe, which is turn 7 on the layout. You want to get this really tight, but not run any power early out, but not too wide because the off-track is severe. And then you got to get your car over to the right to position for the club chicane, sorry, for the Vale chicanes. And into club. This is this long right-hander, which forms the last corner of the current GP layout. For those of you wondering how it fares compared to the old and new layouts, and they come bombing down this straight, which is not quite a name, into the Abbey chicane. You can cut the chicane quite enough, or quite a lot on the left, and then on the right doing the same. Get as much as you dare on the curbing down the farm straight. And this is for most cars a flat right. If you go flat, you can get yourself slightly out of position, so you want to get over as right as far as possible. Into Priory, use a curb on the left, flat corner, don't run too wide again because it's off track and gravel. Left-hander of Brooklands, keep it tight, not too sharp though. You want to lose speed, and then keep your patience. Don't get on the throttle too early for Luffield. As soon as you get around on the throttle early, get the power up to Woodcut and to complete the lap. Fertel's already gone to a 59.16 with 59.55 for Fraser. Scott Malcolm comes over a 2:91. So let's see who else we can join board. Stuart Gibbons has been quick round here, so we're going to jump aboard with Stuart Gibbons in a minute as he prepares to complete his flying lap in a short moment. He's been showing some really good early paces, Stuart Gibbons, in the Blade Designs car. And a green liveried Honda. Both Blade Designs teams are in a Honda tonight. So both Blade Designs drivers for the Blade Designs team. Car number 47 as we watch the start of this flying lap from Stuart Gibbons on board. Let's see what he can do as he goes over the line to complete that lap, and actually was his dirty somewhere. So he hasn't put in a legal time yet. Into Cops, he got a little bit of a smopper on there and turn in. Just saw that quick application of a left-hand direction change to the right-hand corner. Into Maggots and Beckett's, how brave can he be across the curbs, using that very nicely, getting his money's worth there. Into 4th, down to 3rd quickly, into the second part of Maggots and Beckett's. Keep it tight through Beckett's, get on a throttle early, run as wide as you dare, use that curb. That's Chapel. Good run out there from Chapel onto the hangar straight. Stowe, this next corner is tricky, it's long, it's medium pace. It's also very flat. It's very easy to run it out wide if you get on the throttle too early. Sometimes you think you can take it faster than you believe. And there's a nice line into that corner there for Stuart Gibbons, and a really good exit there. Down Vale, into the Vale and Club chicanes. The complex here, which is left-hander, 2nd gear. Clip the curb on the inside. Don't slide too much. Get as far left, and then close up the apex as late as you dare, but early as you want on the throttle. And push himself out wide. Good cornering there, really good patience there from Stuart Gibbons as we come down straight here into Abbey. Again, left-hander, cut some on the left, throttle early, cut some on the right. It looked nice enough on the absolute limit. Down into Bridge, does he lift? He does not. Keeps it pinned early on the brakes, smooth. Uses a lot of curb on the inside there on the left. Runs out wide, curb on the right. Into Brooklands. Patient. 2nd gear corner. Nice and early on the throttle there. And then just rolls it round Luffield. You want to be wait, and then go. Yeah, really good there from Stuart Gibbons. He's been set to really fast times. Some might be saying he's a contender for the pole overall. Big opportunity for him. He comes over the line and sets just a 2:05. Probably a little bit disappointed of that, actually, but got a really nice tidy lap there from Stuart Gibbons. We're going to jump on board for the next pro lap with Daniel Lewis there in the Audi. It's the only Audi in the race, I think, actually. Yep, the only Audi on the grid tonight for Dan Lewis. So run through The Abbey chicane. Alpha Fertile was at a 58.8 to go top of qualifying. I'm just trying to see where everyone is, who we want to jump on board with. Any pros out of position. Alpha Fertile is about to start his next lap. So let's jump on board with Alpha Fertile in the Hyundai Veloster. Round the start finish line. Down towards Cops. How does he take it compared to Stuart Gibbons last time round? On the brakes nice and early. Gets onto the curb on the inside. Really tidy. Uses all of the runoff he dares. It's easy to run off too far, but he did a nice balance there. Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel next. Really early down in the gears there, but it keeps a really high rev, keeps high torque. Very different to how the Honda drivers are taking this corner. But as always, the Velo has got fantastic top end as he comes out of Chapel onto the long hanger straight where he can stretch the legs of that Veloster. Which will certainly win most drag races, a lot of these cars. Down to third for Stowe. Using the curb on the inside. Powers through and uses all of the exit there. Nice line through there. Into Vale and Club. Second gear. Uses a big cut, but that's absolutely fine. Rides the curb on the inside on the Veloster, which is one of its strengths as well. Not just a straight line speed of the Veloster, but it also rides those curves excellently. Down towards Abbey. When you take the big cut option as well. Second gear. Yep, nice cut on the inside. Keeps a great position for the exit of the second part of that chicane. Down into bridge. Does he lift? As he goes under bridge. A lot of curbing. Little lift on the apex. But just settles the car nicely into Priory. Quick change of gears there just to keep the revs up high. Second gear. Just really tight on the curb. Gets his car into the middle of the road again, keeping it very tight. Very different lines compared to the Honda. You might say he's not using all the width, but he's trying to keep the momentum between the corners on the straights as he gets his foot down for the exit to Woodcut and to complete another lap. Let's see what he does on board here. So he completes a 58.92. Just 5 thousandths slower. That was a good lap to get on board with his pole time. Looking very good there, Mr. Alpha Fertile on his outright pace. Let's run through our top 10 with just 5 minutes left of quali. Alpha Fertile is on pole with the second place car, which is the Pro Tony Walker with a 59.1. He is 1,000th quicker than Logan McKinsey, our second place pro, and third on track. Wayne Douglas puts himself fourth, 59.4 is his fastest time, and he is only 8 thousandths quicker than another pro, Cooper Akers. Fraser Elphick, very quick in practice and testing. He is right up there himself, as we see. I thought we saw a change of position, but we didn't. Fraser Elphick is there with 59.49. On board Wayne Douglas at the moment. Neil Stevenson is right there as well, 59.62. There's a 10th behind Fraser Elphick of that Pro-Am battle. Dick Crowther's done a fabulous job as well. I'm just going to get rid of a mosquito off my microphone. There he goes. To Dick Crowther's there, 59.6. Daniel Lewis, 59.7. Kev Ayler, 59.7 also. Sven Winter, a pro, a 9K guy. He's down in 59.8. So he's not quite turned on the pace yet. As we jump on board to him now. Craig Walters lurking there at 59.8. So the 59.8 stretch all the way down to 13th place, those sub 2 minute times. Tom Woodcock, another pro with 14th place. He'd be keen to get some more pace on board here. As we see the JS team in the Honda, Tom Woodcock and Paul Hurley, dragging their way around in the draft of each other. And Paul Hurley runs off. Sven Winton, can he get himself up there? There's 3 minutes to go. I'm interested to see a couple of pros, if they have to, work their way through the field. As always, it's top 15 reverse grid, so if you finish 15th, you start pole in race 2, the feature race. The first race is 20 minutes, the second race is 25. Let's look at the new boys there. Clayton McBuller is down in 15th place with a 2:03. You see there, just rounding a woodcut. Down towards turn 1 there, rolling through. Let's have a look at Maggots and Beckett's for everybody. Wonderful complex of corners, Maggots and Beckett's is. So it's just settling down there. The track's getting a bit warmer, so it's getting not quite as hot for everybody, which is a shame, but that's the way it goes. Button. We've got just under 2 minutes to go. Sven Windsor has jumped up to 59.18, so he managed to get a good lap in there to jump into 3rd place in class, 4th on the track. There's Sven. Great job there to push himself up. In the AMs, we've got Mark Kelly on his AM debut. Look, currently the AM pole sitter with a 2:04 with 7 thousandths behind him is Paul Hurley. And Scott Malcolm, another 7 thousandths behind him. That's awfully close. Andy Litter is yet to set a time, unfortunately. But that's exceptionally close between all of those drivers. Just go show how tight the Anfield is. Come to a natural end of quali. I can't really see anyone doing anything spectacular at the moment, unfortunately, on track. Just keep an eye on what everyone's doing in terms of pace, but yeah, no one's really setting the purple sectors alive on track, as you can see rolling across the bottom there. Different drivers doing different times. But yeah, nothing frighteningly fast. So you watch Scott Malcolm come over the line to complete another lap. "15 seconds left of quali. And will take us straight into the race very, very shortly. Have a look at the splits. You can see who's in what for different divisions at the end of qualifying there. Looking pretty tight. Arthur Vettel looks like he's snuck the pole in. Okay, let's just show you the grid for race 1 of Heat 1 tonight up to round 5 of the SRL TCR League Season 8, Week 5 from Silverstone Legacy. Here's your opening grid. Arthur Vettel, Tony Walker occupy 1st and 2nd. Tony Walker, the Pro-Am, out qualifying pretty much all of the Pro field. What a spectacular that was by Tony. Logan McKinsey and Sven Windsor occupy 3rd and 4th, with Wayne Douglas and Stu Gibbons, another Pro-Am there, right in the middle of the action. I'm keen to see what Stuart Gibbons can do and Tony Walker can do off the line. Cooper Akers and Fraser Elphick are right there as well in 7th and 8th. They're going to show some great pace from their quality, and they're so close in terms of their times. It's going to make it very interesting. Why did it always do that to me when I press that button? I do not know, because there's nothing I can do about it as well until it actually changes. Here we go. Neil Stevenson, 9th and 10th with Deck Crowther there. Again, 9 thousandths of a second separate those guys. Dan Lewis and Kevela, they are so close as well. Just 3 tenths different, sorry, 300ths different between them. 11th and 12th on the grid. 13th and 14th, you see Craig Walters and Clayton Buller. A little bit off the pace, but Craig would have liked there. And Clayton Buller, not sure if it's his favourite track, but it's good to see him right to the middle of the Pro-Am battle as well on his opening race. Tom Woodcock will feel a little bit grieved at being in 15th place, really out of position for his pace. Hopefully he can hook it up at the beginning of the laps as well. Mark Kelly takes the AM pole for himself and on his AM debut, with Paul Hurley and Scott Malcolm in their tight battle for their championship. Is going to hot up there, and we see Andy Littler taking to the grid in 19th. No time set in 40 for Andy Littler. There is a name now under Kevin Bolland at the back, but he is not taking the grid for this race. As we see everyone just slowly gridding up for everybody. Take a few minutes to just reflect on what's happening. as we get our race screens all ready and sorted for you guys and girls. There we go. One more box to tick, which is that one. And as always, I always say as always, it will be as always, it's a regular thing now. We have the roof cams, which are completely rotatable, so you can see the action, hopefully, if we get a chance to, on board all the way through. There's our first, so as the revs start to get going shortly. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so first of all, Walker and Kelly are your division and class leaders at the start of this race. Here comes the revs. Revs picking up. We're going to go green any second. 3, 2, 1. And it's go, go, go for race 1, heat 1 of this SRL TCR League. We see Alpha Fertile climb himself away from the start line very nicely. Car weaving around the inside. Wayne Douglas trying to make some position into Cops in the first corner. Are they through cleanly into turn 1? They are indeed. It's a good start of the race from everybody there. And the cars come steaming down towards Maggots and Beckett's. What a complex of corners this is for any car to be watching as we see cars come through. So Stu Gibbons has gone off. Absolute missile off the track there. Not sure what happened there, but he just disappeared stage left. We'll grab that on the replays at the end. Cars come down. Start finish line on board there with Kevin. You can see there with Craig Walters looking to go up the inside with Clayton McBullet going the inside of him as well, and door to door from Tom Woodcock trying to make some action up here as the cars come down to the club chicane for the first time. Mark Kelly coming down the inside of Paul Hurley, make it stick. Our director didn't want to watch out, he wants to watch the programs. We see Cooper Akers trying to keep pace here with Wayne Douglas and Sven Winter of the pros. Fraser Elphick right behind him with Dan Lewis right behind him. No trains forming yet. This is still only the first lap as the cars come through the Abbey chicane. Into bridge. Fraser Elphick on the back of Cooper Akers. Velo versus Velo. Another Velo in front of him with an Audi behind. Here comes Fraser Elphick on the inside of Cooper. Does he make it work? Just backs out of it nicely. Tricky, cold tyres. Gets his position back in the line there, so nothing else goes on. Round into Luffield. Again, paced corner. It's not really an overtaking spot. Dan Lewis gets right at the backside there of Fraser Elphick. And the guys complete their first lap on track. As we go into Cops, see the car's going to whiz around here. Very nicely. Fertile, McKinsey, Tony Walker, Sven Winter, Wayne Douglas, as they all stream through that turn 1 Cops corner. Such a spectacular sight as always. Into Maggots and Beckett's. You see Fraser Elphick and Dan Lewis and Deck Crowther following Cooper Akers, and the cars really get wheels on through that section. Train of cars. It's tricky to overtake in this early part. We see Dan Lewis going off track, and even a bit of door-to-door hustle to Deck Crowther on the rejoin there. I think he's given the place back there yet. He's just let himself drop back a little bit. Sensible driving from Dan Lewis. Into Stowe as we stay on board of Fraser Elphick. Dan Lewis now in the action. He's got Cavada on the inside of him and slides his way into the corner. That looked pretty spectacular. Dan Lewis will be keen to hold on to positions here. Craig Walters is sniffing the rear. This is some tight old action as we watch it, as it builds up. We are 3 minutes in. It's about a 10-lap race, roughly. So just over 2 minutes a lap, 2 minutes and 8 seconds. On the first lap, anyway. We expect the pros to be doing 59s, everyone else around 2 minutes, maybe. This is the battle for 8th place of Crowther, Stevenson, Lewis, Aylett, and Walters. Down into Bridge. What a great section of corners into Priory and Brooklands and Luffield. Staying on board with Dan Lewis and the SRL Green Team, current team championship leaders at at the moment, but they are being chased by that car in front of him, Neil Stevenson, which is the second place team of the JAS Vroom team. Play Designs always up there as well. They leading this little train of 3. Fraser Elphick just dropping back behind Cooper, but also increasing his gap to Deck Crowther. The cars run down to Cops again. It's a wonderful sight. They really get their kick on the suspension on the inside there. And we see Arthur Fertile being chased by Logan McKenzie through the Nuggets and Beckett sections of the track. Tony Walker side by side between Wayne Douglas and Sven Winter. It's going to be short stretch, but some good driving there as we see Carlos to the right hand side. We didn't quite see who that was, but I think that was Mark Kelly. Possibly Paul Hurley. You're not really sure what happened there. There was a big incident off in the background there. I think there was Tom Woodcock, sorry. Yeah, Tom Woodcock had a major off there at the first part of that sequence of corners. We'll have to pick that one up in the race as well. So far it's been pretty uneventful in terms of action incidents, which is good. It's lovely fair racing. On board with Dan Lewis from the chopper cam. So round the Vale and Club chicanes, power onto the Strait of No Name. All these guys are championship contenders right now. Craig Walters right at the backside there, Kev Aylett. The tight old battle into bridge. Audi looks nice and secure, I have to say, around this track. We see a big contact. Ooh, what was Deck Crowther and Fraser Elphick? Cooper Akers is pretty close here, but yeah, big contact between Fraser and Deck. It is, oh, the camera doesn't know who to choose. There we go. Setting himself down. Action packed, but a bit of a contact there between Crowther and Elphick. As the cars run down towards Cops. Oh, you see some action there between. That was Sven and Wayne. Up ahead there. Sven is dropping down the order there, down into 10th place behind Dan Lewis now. And rejoins right in the middle of a few other cars. As we watch a slide from Neil Stevenson. That looked really spectacular. Awesome bit of sliding through the first part of Maggots and Beckett's as the cars hum through Chapel. Dan Lewis is right up the chuff of Neil Stevenson there. Can the Audi use its superior power? But the Velo has a superior top speed. This is a battle we want to see, but out comes Dan Lewis. This is going to be Stowe, who is the bravest of the brave. Dan Lewis looking to go around the outside. It's going to be tricky to do there because the cars will naturally run out wide and hold the position nicely, which they've done exactly that. And we've got to see the inside here of Cooper Akers in front with Fraser Elphick and Wayne Douglas all very tight in front. They all get through the Vale and Club chicanes safely. Arthur Fertile and Logan McKenzie are out front still. This battle here is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. Might even be 10 if I can count properly. Yeah, 10 cars deep, which stretch all the way from 4th place back to Clayton McBullough in 13th place. What an epic one. We see Fraser Elphick going side by side on Cooper Akers and almost making it stick in. Cooper Akers is right there. We haven't jumped on board. Why are you not jumping on board, Director? They're still side by side. Frown, Brooklands. Wayne Douglas is looking to get in there as well. We're going to jump on board. Here we go. We're going to spin it around there. That's how tight they are. Cooper Akers and Fraser Elphick. Round into Cops. Fraser Elphick made it stick on the inside. Absolutely spectacular bit of driving. They're still too wide coming towards Maggots and Beckett's. This is going to be the battle of the cojones next. Who has the bigger ones? They're too wide into Maggots. They're holding through Beckett's. This is fabulous driving. He's still there. Fraser Elphick just gives himself a distance. In comes Wayne Douglas and he gets the door shut firmly in his face by Cooper Akers. Round through Chapel. And Akers used the draft to get back at Elphick here. He's certainly used the defensive line, pushing him all the way outside. Cooper had to get on the brakes. There's a slightly aggressive and forceful defensive work from Fraser. Here comes Wayne Douglas looking to sneak up on the inside somewhere. Does it make it work? Can Akers make the move into the the Vale chicane? Here comes Cooper, left-hand side, making a move on Fraser. Didn't make it stick yet. The inside line is strong. Here comes Douglas. Oh, look at that. That was pretty impressive. And there has been an accident further behind. We're going to drop back and catch that a bit later. Unfortunately, it involved Neil Stevenson, Kev Aylett as well in that crash. I think Paul Hurley possibly caught up in that. Unfortunately, it happened behind this action-packed squabble. So we will unfortunately catch that one at the end of the race in the highlight section, in between this and race 2. We do not want to take our eyes off this battle, because at the moment you can see your 5 cars there. Oh, Fraser Elphick, Wayne Douglas, Cooper Akers, Deck Crowther and Daniel Lewis. So round the club, so the Luffield, the loop, round Woodcuts to start another lap. We've completed 5 laps. This is now lap 6. As we see Wayne Douglas going to come up the inside of Fraser Elphick. Are we going to see it being put off in Cops? It's always a tricky corner. Not on this occasion. They're still too wide into Maggots and Beckett's. Elphick on the right, Douglas on the left, but instead on board with Cooper Akers. We'll see it from Cooper Akers' battle as he runs a little bit wide in the first sequence of corners. That's going to compromise him. And Deck Crowther goes around the outside of Cooper Akers there. That will annoy Cooper. Something chronically for that mistake there at Maggots and Beckett's. He's going to hold off a lot of other drivers here. On board of Deck Crowther. Right up behind the other two there of Elphick and Douglas. They're going to have an almighty battle. Fraser shows a really, really good pace around this track this week. Definitely would tell it's one of his favourites. Deck Crowther has worked his way up. Didn't qualify the best. I'll tell you one thing. He's showed some good, savvy race pace as they come down the back straight towards the Abbey chicane. And you can cut this quite nicely, get some good momentum. 2 Velos there with a Honda right behind. It's a sandwich of Velos with another one behind Deck, which is the Cooper Akers one. Cooper's being harassed by Dan Lewis in that Audi as we are 12 minutes into the race now. And the action is certainly hotted up. We've had some incidents. Neil Stevenson has also gone off as from earlier on, sorry. The Stevenson, Woodcock and Gibbons are pit road bound. Kev Aylett is running 15th, Paul Hurley 14th, Scott Malcolm 13th and Mark Kelly 12th. So that's how they look at the lower orders there. We haven't even seen the leaders so far. So let's just jump on board with the leaders in a short second. Hopefully the director will let us do that. There we go. There's Arthur Fertel, just comfortably a second ahead of Logan McKinsey. As they come down the Hanger Straight into Stowe. Yeah, Logan McKinsey is not quite there, unfortunately, in terms of the pace of Arthur Fertel around here at the moment on this first lap. As we go back to this battle here, we got 2 wide again with Fraser Elphick looking to go around the right-hand side of Wayne Douglas. Doesn't quite make it stick. Stowe is a tricky corner for that. Again, you've got to be really patient on the throttle and really and get ourselves back on the overlap. It's going to be a battle of temperament as well, as we see the 3 wide. Deck Crowther into Elphick into Douglas. I think Douglas was a little bit hard on the brakes, slowed up Elphick, which then slowed up Crowther. Cooper Akers now back in the battle with Dan Lewis. It's 5 cars. It's going to allow Sven Winter, who dropped back the order a bit early on, to close up. So it's a little bit of tight contact between them all. Cars hustle their way down. And Fraser, I think, went around the outside of Wayne Douglas, and Wayne Douglas is going to come back on the inside of Brooklands. It's 3 wide. It's a robust block there from Wayne Douglas on Fraser Elphick. But this is good racing, and Dick Craver just taps the rear end of Elphick again. That's going to allow Cooper through, who gives a nice little door-to-door contact there, just to let him know that you're there. You have a car on your right, Mr. Craver. Now Cooper is going to look to get Fraser. Fraser is very defensive into cops. They're really argy-bargying through there. We're going to stay with the chopper cam because this is a great angle to see all the cars place their positions. Wayne Douglas has managed to get away from this battle and give a little bit of breathing room between him and Fraser. As we see the Velo really take those curves wonderfully smooth, staying on the back of each other. Crowther will be very keen to not lose any ground on this battle in front, as we are into 15 minutes gone, 5 minutes to go. Jump on board with Dick Crowther again. He's giving us some wonderful highlights already today. Cooper making himself a nuisance in the rear view mirror of Elphick in front of him. And then you got the fearsome sight of an Audi in your rear view, just giving it to you. They are line astern here. Round bridge. We're looking in terms of time. We've got 4 minutes remaining. Fertile and McKinsey have ran away. 40 Tony Walker's been left on his own, and Wayne Douglas. Oh, we've got a slide there as Cooper. A little nibble from Crowther. There was a little bit of door left open, and Mr. Crowther decided to go for it. Cooper will not be enjoying that bit of contact in the car. Again, it's on that one that kind of tests temperature. We see Sven Winter getting a move done on him from Cooper Akers behind. And can Crowther catch up with Elphick? And Dan Lewis has got past Cooper. After that little bit of a slide contact at Brooklands earlier on the last lap. Here's Lewis. Cooper's down to the 8th place, 5th in class. Yeah, we've got behind him Sven Walters. As the cars are launched down on the hangar straight. Still a long line of cars. Currently sitting on 15th place. Your reverse pole is Mr. Kev Aylett. We've been enjoying that, possibly. I say something happened to him earlier in the race, which we'll go back and check. Neil Stevenson's come back out on track, so he's going to try and get his points on the board, which is a good thing to be doing. That's Sven Winter, the pro, in the middle of a bunch of pro-ams as they come round the club corner down towards Abbey. A little of a flash of lights from somebody there. This is going to be the hotly contested final few laps of the race. By my calculation, Arthur Fertile is probably going to take the white flag. Ooh, it's going to be tight. No, I think this is going to be... He's not come round the last lap yet. No, he has. Ooh, it's on the border. I'm not sure if we're on white flag territory at the moment. He went over the line of about a minute 59 to go, which is his lap time. So as he completes a lap here at Woodcut, no white flag being waved by Barney right there. So I'm not sure if we're going to get it yet. I think we've got this lap and one more, as Cooper Akers has been hustled by Sven Winter into the Magnus and Beckett's complex. Craig Walters looking to take advantage of any confusion and mistakes, which can always happen when people are watching the mirrors. Cooper Akers is earmarked as the most exciting driver on track right now. come around Chapel. Down the Hanger Straight. So, always tricky. Sven will be looking to make an overtake here. Because even though there are different divisions, everyone is scored overall in terms of points. Obviously, where your points are will determine where you are in your division as such. Overtaking the car, which is a lower class, is actually beneficial to you. And also it's beneficial for the lower class car to not let the pro class driver pass as well. The cars come down towards the Abbey chicane. Arthur Fertile, we're just going to jump on board with him. I don't think it's going to be checkered. The flag is not out that I can see. It was very touch and go. Are we going to see one more lap? Nope, checkered flag is out. Checkered flag is going. There it is. Arthur Fertile wins the Heat 1. Tony Walker comes round to take third place overall on track and wins the Pro-Ams. Wayne Douglas will be third in the Pros and fourth on track. Hustled there by Fraser Elphick to take his second place in class. Dick Crowther third. Dan Lewis fourth in class. Cooper Akers fifth and eighth on track. Sven Winter fourth in class and ninth on the road. And Craig Walters rounds out your top 10. And Clayton Buller very impressively gets himself into 11th place there. And Mark Kelly wins the Prams. Scott Malcolm second and Paul Hurley third. Kevin Elliott rounding out the top 15. Well, that was a bit action-packed, wasn't it, guys and girls? So let's have a look at the race results for Heat 1. Yeah. This is the overalls, so we'll keep an eye on for everyone else there. So Arthur Fertile, winner by 1.2 seconds over Logan McKinley. Tony Walker is third place there on track and winner of the Pro-Ams of 6.8 seconds behind the leaders there. He was comfortably ahead of Wayne Douglas by another 9 seconds there, who was third for the Pros and fourth on track. Bringing home second place for the Pro-Ams and fifth on track is Fraser Elphick. Very good performance from him. Always good to see him get up near the front on his comeback season. And Dick Crowther rounded out the podium for the Pro-Ams. Just hustling Fraser Elphick over the line. It was all very tight. Daniel Lewis just another second behind him, and Cooper Akers just under a second behind him. And Sven Winter bringing home the fourth place for the remaining Pros on track. He was right in the mix of it there. So action all the way down. 10th place Craig Walters. He was pretty much in that battle as well. Casey Buller was tagged along all the way through. Mark Kelly did really well along with Scott Malcolm and Paul Hurley to be 12th, 13th and 14th on track, and in that order first, second and third in class. Kev Aylett, disappointing race, him down in 15th place, and De Littler coming home in 16th, just missing that reverse grid position actually for the pole. That would be interesting to get one of the AMs up there. But Kev Aylett took that with his 15th place. Neil Stevenson was 2 laps down but still classified, so we'll get the points for that. Tom Woodcock retired early on. Stuart Gibbons retired early on as well. And Kevin Boller didn't take the track. Right. That's why I'm getting 4 classes showing up, because it's actually showing him. Now, in all my wisdom, let's have a look at the replays. Now, annoyingly, it didn't catch Stuart Gibbons' first lap shenanigans. So we are going to just check on that now. And just find out for you guys. Because that was probably the action that really happened first of all. So let's have a look at what happened for Stuart Gibbons on lap 1. Got a good start. Alongside Cooper Akers there. So Gibbons was one of the re-race favourites around here, definitely in the Pro-Ams. Certainly looking like he wanted to mix it up. Got himself on the grass early on, that won't help his grip. Fraser Elphick just sneaks by. Just see him on the grip, trying to go around the right-hander, and just on the braking, just lost it. We saw him do something similar in Mid-Ohio last week, while in second place. So, yeah, unfortunately for him, not a good couple of tracks. There wasn't too much else going on, to be honest. So let's have a look at what happened to Sven Winter, just having an off-track moment with Wayne Douglas. Well, this was where they had a bit of argy-bargy. Or was it? Nope, not quite. That's pretty fine. They're very tight, these two were. Up the inside. Yeah, good fair driving. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good touring car racing, that one. There we go. McKinsey went off track. Apparently. This is, again, cops, yeah. So tricky to do. And that allowed Arthur just to pull away a little bit, pull off a draft. Fraser Elphick a minute later. Doing the same thing on the same corner. Daniel Lewis, possibly the same thing. A little bit wider on corner there. Yeah, just, ooh, yeah, it's a different corner. Stowe to do that. And then a hip check against Crowther. Oof. Yeah, that could have been a lot worse than it was. That's actually through Chapel and onto the hangar straight. So he got himself wrong on the middle portion of that track and allowed Neil Stevenson to come past him as well. Condensing field there. Tom Woodcock went off track. I'm not sure what happened to Tom. Let's have a look. Into Maggots and Beckett's got himself really out of the width. Oh, that's a huge one. Oh, yeah, that's a punishing crash. Tom Woodcock, and that was a race over for him. Sorry to see that. Okay, it was Kevin that went off track here. Yep, Stowe corner. As they come down to the chicane, and we're going to stay with this because there was, oh yeah, turn there from Neil Stevenson on contact, and then Clayton McBuller just tapped Kevin into the path of Neil Stevenson, and then that was carnage. Neil Stevenson unfortunately was damaged there from that. So we are going to have a look at that one again from Neil Stevenson's viewpoint. So he's got the run here, a little bit wide. I think that's, yep, Sven Winton, the car number 2, down the inside. Rear quarter, oh yeah, that's a bit questionable. And then a second contact there for him on the front end. And then, oh, contact for Stevenson as Mark Kelly came through. I think he hit the back of Paul Hurley, and that's steering damage for Neil Stevenson. I think it's the same incident, yep. See it again from a different angle. A bit further back, so it's on the viewpoint of Kevin on the camera there. Contact, a brake. Walters somehow nipped through that. It's that contact there. Oh, yeah. That was interesting. A lot of contact going on. Let's see that again. Let's see where we got. So Dick Crowther past Cooper Acres. This would have been round Luffield. That's that contact there. Yeah, that was robust. Let's have a look at that again from a slightly different angle, just to slow it down. See that the door's wide open there. If you're a racer, would you go for it? I think most people would say yes. Door wasn't closing. Yeah, but they're both ways to keep it on track. Front-wheel drive cars powering the slide through there really nicely. That was pretty much it, to be honest, for the race as it went. Wasn't too much else in terms of action. There's lots of overtakes and people running too wide for a long time. We saw some great ones with Fraser Elphick and Wayne Douglas early on. There was some fabulous racing between those two. But all in all, a pretty sensible race, some might say. Right, so that concludes our race 1 for you. So we will take a short break and we'll return for the feature race, a 25-minute spectacular here at Silverstone's Legacy 2008 Grand Prix layout track for you all as we head into the sunset for race 2. See you in a few moments. Okay, people, welcome back for the feature race of race 2. This is always a frenetic, action-packed race. It's a reverse grid. So let's take a look at how that grid lines up for you all today for race 2. Our pole sitter who finished 15th in the first race is the Pro-Am of Kev Aylett, and he is occupying the front row with teammates, same stable teammates, Paul Hurley of the Pretenders in the AM division in second place. Third place is Scott Malcolm and Mark Kelly, both AMs also occupying a full grid between them. It's almost like you shall not pass kind of mentality. Fifth place is Clayton McBullett and Craig Walters, 5th and 6th on the grid. Clayton had a good first race. Very keen to see how he does there. Craig Walters, championship contender, is in a good position here. Sven Winter, the first pro in 7th place, is occupying that grid spot alongside Cooper Akers, the championship leader in the Pro-Ams. Dan Lewis, Dick Crowther, with the combatants there in 9th and 10th. Fraser Welfick, after his great first race there, is alongside Wayne Douglas, who has some great side-by-side action, along with Tony Walker, who won the race for the Pro-Ams and third on the grid, third on the track, is 13th, and Logan McKenzie starts 14th, 1 place behind Arthur Fertel. Are we going to see something spectacular from those two working their way through the grid? Andy Littler starts 16th, just missing out on that reverse grid pole by 1 place, with Neil Stevenson, Tom Woodcock, Stuart Gibbons taking up the rest of the race there. Whew. Are we ready for what will be an action-packed race 2, the feature race? We just get all of our bits and bobs on screen ready for you guys. Let's have a look at the weather as it is due to start. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, a little bit cooler. It's sunset. The winds change direction. It's not as blustery, but they are going to be taking everything that they can take. As everyone's just gridding up there, we've still got about 30 seconds till lights go green. Unless everyone grids up before then. Opening lights there. Everyone's revs are picking up quickly. Are we going to see a quick start for everybody? Your breakers is going to jump to straight away for the action as the cars run away down the start-finish line into turn 1. And there we go. We've got some carnage on the start-finish line already. Oh, we've got Dan Lewis and Neil Stevenson, oh dear, on the start-finish line. We will check that at the end of the race, of course, as the cars run their way down. Through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel on the opening race, just to see what's happened there. But we've lost Dan Lewis and Neil Stevenson early on. We're aboard of Sven Winter, in 7th place as the cars come down the hangar straight, led by Kev Aylett. They're 3 wide behind her. Paul Hurley, Mark Kelly and Scott Malcolm, the 3 AMs. Clayton McBullett is there. Craig Walters is there. Craig Walters looking to go down the inside of Clayton. Didn't quite make his stick, and Mark Kelly's ran wide at Stowe. A 3 wide contact on the front of Clayton's car. Wow, that was vicious. He's kept going, just lost his front splitter. Has he got the downforce? No, it seems to reattach, and contact behind. Oh, that was Mark Kelly into the back of Sven, into the back of Clayton. Clayton's still going. So 2 LOA stablemates actually coming into contact quite early on there as Clayton rejoins a little bit slow. Kev Aylett still leads us away there. And Paul Hurley right behind. Mark Kelly in the wars on the opening lap. Dick Crowther sneaking his way past Arthur Fertel. Is Arthur trying to get past Dick Crowther? Both going to have none of that. As they come around into the loops of Priory, Brooklands and Luffield. It's Logan McKenzie being chased down through Wayne Douglas to get right in the backside there. These are the 3 pros all together. Cooper Akers right behind them to complete the first racing lap of this feature race. It's a 25-minute feature race. Logan, these are the guys you think would try and get up the field as quickly as possible. They're already up 7 places I mean, they started 15th and 14th for Fertel and McKinsey, and are now 8th and 9th on track. That's certainly a quick gain on the opening lap of this feature race. That Crowther is holding his position against Arthur very strongly, though. Kervalet just stretching that gap to Paul Hurley and Scott Malcolm behind him. And down the Hangar Straights. On board with Dick Crowther, being hunted down now by Hurtle and McKinsey. Which way do you want to go, boys? And they go clip, side door to door, perfect racing from them both. Crowther will have Mark Kelly for company in front of him. You see everyone going 3 wide. There's Wayne Douglas in for the action behind. You spin around and see what's going on in front. Crowther and Fertel. No, Fertel and McKinsey are right side by side there. So McKinsey down the inside of Fertel. Into Abbey, and Douglas just pushing Fertel through. They will hold no prisoners, these pros. Fertel showing the nose into Bridge. McKinsey having none of that. We got a bit of smoke up ahead. Someone's off on the right. That looks like Scott Malcolm. Not sure what happened there. That'll be one for the replays. Daniel Lewis and Fraser Elphick have had an incident as well. I don't think they're related incidents, but they are. Something's happened. McKinsey, back onto Walters. He's got Sven Winter in front of him. Paul Hurley is that car in front of Sven. 4 minutes in. I'm not sure what happened with Scott Malcolm, but we will catch that up. But we have lost Fraser Elphick somewhere in that first few laps. Dan Lewis is also in pit road and leaving pit road now. So not really sure what happened. The cars wheel away from me. There's Kervalet with Paul Hurley, Sven Winter, Craig Walters hustling Sven through there. There's Mark Kelly, Dick Crowther, and McKinsey all battling super hard down the straight. They are nose to tail all the way down there behind Walters. Sven goes round the inside of Paul Hurley, went a little bit deep into Stowe. Craig Walters looking to get himself also through on Paul Hurley, who's had a good couple of laps running at the front here, trying to catch his friend and teammate Kervalet. Walters didn't get past Hurley as the cars sparkle nicely into the sunset there. Now can Sven catch Kervalet there? They're running a similar pace. His best lap is a 59.8 actually, which is the fastest lap on the track. It's going to be interesting here. So there's some mixed pace. Of course, Mark Kelly. He's got Dick Crowther right behind him, with Arthur Fertel pushing him through and Wayne Douglas pushing him through. You can see the 2x2 action behind of Fertel against Crowther. McKinsey somehow snuck himself past Mark Kelly somewhere, very subtly. Crowther still too wide with Arthur, and Douglas still also trying to push his way through. Cooper would be keen to get through as well, but stuck at the back of this 3-car battle. Crowther and Fertel still too wide as we go towards Copse. You see him all sturtle through Copse. Crowther and Fertel still there. Fertel's just sneaking round the outside. Done a great job. And here comes the cars through Maggots and Beckett's. There's Kevin in front of Sven Winter trying to chase him down. Running over the curb on the tight lines. Craig Walters just losing a bit of pace there to Sven. McKinsey's catching Walters with Hurley, Kelly, Fertel, Crowther, Douglas, Cooper. And that's Clayton McMullough with Scott Malcolm and Stuart Gibbons running behind. On board with Paul Hurley now with Mark Kelly right behind. This is an AM battle. This is the battle for the lead of the AMs. Always for bragging rights. Now, Arthur Fertel will be keen to make quick work of these guys to catch back up onto Logan McKinsey, who is got Craig Walters in front of him, and Craig Walters will not make it easy. It's also going to give up the place because Craig Walters has been known. He's got to catch Kev Aylett up ahead. That is a Pro-Am battle as well. The cars come down into the Abbey chicane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars in a line. And we just blinked out there just to confuse the cameras. Every single lap, another car attaches itself to this long train of mixed class drivers, which is exactly what you want to see in touring cars in a mixed class league. Mark Kelly just parking himself nicely between Hurley and Fertel. Fertel will know he's got Wayne Douglas behind him, a fellow pro, very keen to make some ground up and stretch some ground between the two. Dick Crowder just dropping back a little bit. Fertel looking to go up the inside of Kelly into Copse. Does he make it stick? Kelly's not going to make it easy. And still there. Maggots and Beckett's is your next complex. Kelly is still pushing. He's still too wide. He's not letting him through. But Arthur has got himself past on the outside of Maggots. There's Beckett's. Fabulous action there. And they're still too wide on the exit of Chapel down the Hanger Straight. This is where the Velo should hopefully come in good. Douglas is tucked in the draft of Fertel. No one's getting the draft of Hurley in front, and Fertel taking the defensive line. Wayne Douglas looking to take it 3 wide into Stowe. They all make the move on Kelly, but didn't make it stick on Fertel. Good driving there, gentlemen. Fabulous bit of all-round driving there. As we go, the cars go into Vale and Club Chicane. And Dick Crowder keen to get past Mark Kelly now. Paul Hurley giving himself a few cars difference between him and Mark Kelly in that AM battle. In that battle for the race win and championship, because it all comes down to it at the end of the season. Staying on board with Mark Kelly. Too wide there. Fertel looking to go up the inside of Hurley. Still there. Fertel having it all robustly shut in his face out by Hurley as Fertel starts to go around the outside of Priory into Brooklands. Fertel's still there. Hurley in that Honda, proving that it's no slouch, but I think Fertel's going to get the inside line, and Douglas goes into the back of Fertel, pushing him round Luffield. Honda's on the outside. There's a bit of a slide there. Douglas is giving a nice check up there by Hurley, going, you're not going to get past that easy, sir. Here comes Mark Kelly. Suddenly there's 2 cars between them. Now there's none. Can Hurley go around the outside of Douglas into Copse? Not quite on this occasion. Don't want to run it too wide. Are we going to use a speed token? Nope, but Kelly's got to run on Hurley. Crowther's trying to sneak his way through. This is a good battle going on between these 3 cars. We are 10 minutes into the race, 15 minutes to go. It's 3 Hondas of 3 different teams there, of Mark Kelly, Paul Hurley and Dick Crowther. The 4th one coming up there, which is Clayton McBuller. Cooper Akers is down there in 11th place. Not quite got it together this race as much as he would wanted to. He's down 2 positions on his starting position. Sven Winton did get past Kev Aylett for the race lead. We didn't see that one. Logan McKinsey's going to be catching Kev up now. There's a bit of a gap there, 2 seconds. And then a contact. Douglas and Clayton. Sorry, Crowther and... Oh, dear. I don't know who was the focus on there. That was Crowther, Clayton and Mark Kelly. Oh, we'll have to check that one up on the replay. That was a 3-car incident. Mark Kelly gets himself underway. Clayton Buller has towed, as has Dick Crowther. Oh, what a shame that would have been. Let's see if we can catch up with the leaders somewhere on track. There we go, that's Sven Winter, who got past Aylett. But Aylett has not exactly dropped off the back of him there. So he's using the force of the draft to stay close. And there's 2 Hondas running up front. So this is your leading pro and overall leader, Sven Winter, and he is up a few places from 6th on the grid. Kev Aylett, who is down 1 place on the grid, is in the Pro-Am lead. We've got 3 guys down pit road. Mark Kelly, Clayton McBullen, Dick Crowther. Mark Kelly did have a meatball, so he got himself back, I think. Or he ends up towing. No, he ends up towing, I'm told, by our intrepid pit lane crew. As we're going to flop it back onto most excited as we watch the leaders hum their way through the 7th lap. We are at the halfway stage as the Hanger Straight beckons. There's Winter, Aylett, and they're back on board with Hurley. He has been chased by Cooper Akers. Again, same overall team, but different actual teammates. Cooper looking to go down the inside of Hurley. When you make it stick into Stowe. Great rivals on and off the track. Know how each other race as well, but Paul Hurley goes, not my race, mate. I'm going to let you go through, Coop. Stuart Gibbons will be looking to get himself close. He's 3 seconds back from these boys in 9th place. Paul Hurley running nicely in 8th place overall on track. Cooper Akers now into 3rd in class after that Buller, Crowther and Kelly incident. That would have caused a real shake-up of the positions, and that has worked in his favour. So 3rd in class, 4th on the road, sorry, 7th on the road for Cooper Akers. And they've been hustled through by Paul Hurley. Stuart Gibbons has taken a 2nd off him of this last few laps and corners. Cars round the complex towards the end of a lap. This is Brooklands. And you have the right-hander of Luffield, a really tight, tricky loop of a corner. And then down towards the fast right-hander of Woodcut and the start-finish line again. The 2 wonderfully emblazoned just and average sim racer cars take these 2 into the night, basically. We don't see much action elsewhere on track. I don't know why. Apparently no one else is exciting. Here we go, Craig Walters, as we talk about it. We've been chased through Maggots and Beckett's by Arthur Fertel. These 2 will be pretty close as we go. Logan McKinsey is a 2.5 back from Ayler. Not really gaining too much on him, but it will be slowly but surely. Down the Hanger Straight to go. There's quite a few pockets of gaps now between the drivers, so we're not going to see too much in the way of action in terms of overtakes now. Who can catch whom on the track? We've got Logan McKinsey running 3rd on track, 2nd in class, driving 59.4s. Our first will doing 59.2s and Wayne Douglas 59.4s. So these guys are catching the guys in front, and with 10 minutes remaining, could actually set up for quite an entertaining last couple of laps potentially as the pace comes together, which is what you want to see with a reverse grid. Enough drivers in different positions, and then the pace kind of disparity all comes together at the very end, where everyone is racing each other for literally the scraps on the line. As we watch Arthur Fertel still tucked behind Craig Walters, but Craig Walters doing 59.9s himself, a little bit quicker than the Pro-Am leader at the time, which is Kev Aylett, but not enough to really eat into that lead. And neither Logan's really took any chunks out of Kev's time either. I think Kev's hooked himself up nicely behind Sven at the moment. Sven runs himself off track and briefly ahead. Excuse me. And there goes Arthur Fertel on the inside of Craig Walters, making quick gain there. Yeah, Sven had an off track, which meant Kev was hunched right up to it there, and Cooper Akers and Paul Hurley still running very close there. Stuart Gibbons just entering that party. Never too late to gate crash. We know Stuart is very fast around here. He's running 59.8, so he's running a second quicker than these 2 boys on his optimal time right now. So we expect him to be in the battle there. And Craig Walters still hooking onto the back of that Veloster with Arthur Fertel. Down the Hanger Straight they go. And that's looking back from Walters' roof cam. Into the sun we go. You see Arthur Fertel there. Just edging away ever so slightly into the Club and Vale chicanes. There's not a lot of actual cars close on track apart from these two, Arthur and Craig. Wayne Douglas is trying to hang on to the back of him, and I think he'll possibly get Craig as they come towards Vale Club. Daniel Lewis is back out on track, a lap behind. Tony Walker was rapid in the first race. He is down in 11th still, which is 5th in class. Just give you the breakdown of where people are in class at the moment. So you can see that Sven Winter, Logan McKenzie and Arthur Fertel, first, second and third in class. In Douglas 4th and 6th on the road. In the Pro-Ams, we've got Kevin Ayler, Craig Walters, Cooper Akers, Stuart Gibbons and Tony Walker. The top 5 there. And in the Pros, 9th, 10th and 12th on track. Looking pretty tight and pretty close still, actually, in terms of track positioning, is Paul Hurley, Scott Malcolm and Andy Littler. So that is a ever tight battle between those guys there. I'm just going to look for Paul Hurley and Scott Malcolm, and there's about 7 seconds between those two, unfortunately. The action is, I don't think it's going to hot up too much, because we watch from board as Wayne Douglas slowly edges away at Craig Walters. Just trying to peg him back up a little bit there. Arthur Fertel was gaining on the back of Logan McKenzie. He's running about a 10th to 2 tenths quicker per lap. McKenzie is running about now 6 tenths quicker than Aylett, and it is now a second behind Aylett. Aylett is also just 1 second behind Sven. They are coming together very, very, very quickly at the front. We've got about 6 minutes of the race remaining, which is 3 racing laps, you'd say. We jump on board with Sven Winter. So we're not. Should we just see how this plays out? To be quite honest. So we're going to stay on board with his leaders now, because I think this is where looking at the timings, this is where it's going to come good. So you can see Logan there just hunting down Aylett, and Aylett still sticking on the back of Sven, really. It's quite a good performance here from the Pro-Am in the middle of the Pros, as when you've got McKenzie and Fertel bearing down on you hard. That's exactly what they're doing, bearing down. McKenzie's running a little bit wide there. We've got to stay on board these guys here, because I think with Fertel chasing McKenzie, McKenzie chasing Aylett, and then kind of chasing both of them. They come towards Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, you see the closing speed there under braking of that Veloster in the Pro's hand of Logan McKenzie. It was so tight. Kev's taking the defensive line. You can see that by the way he's parked the car in the Vale. So down the hanger straight here, down towards Stowe. Will McKenzie go a certain way? He goes down the inside of Stowe and pulls it off. Kev going to come back at him. They go door to door. Good driving for the pair of them here. Kev gets the advantage back here for Vale Club. Oh, what a drive Logan got out of Club there as they come down. He's straight towards Abbey. That was a fantastic drive from Logan McKenzie there into the Abbey chicane. Arthur Fertel will be sneaking right up on the back of this battle here. Let's have a look at this now as they go into bridge. There's Arthur Fertel. Nose on the inside there of Kev going into the bridge corner, then Fertel sends it down the inside of Priory. Absolutely spectacularly. What a lap that was in terms of the 2 Pros coming through, and Kev had no answer to that as the Pro-Am. Now, here we go. We are 22 minutes to go. We've got 2 laps to go. 2 laps. Now the big battle is now, can Fertel and McKenzie have an almighty battle. We're going to stay with this battle towards the end of the race now. This is the battle for the race lead, potentially. We've got 3 seconds to Sven Winter. And these boys are travelling pretty quick. But Sven was quick in the last one at 59.7. But Arthur was also quick at 59.6. Logan was the standout weak point on the last lap of 2.5. As the cars come down the Higher Straight. Fertile make the move on McKinsey. I think Sven might just have a bit too much in the tank up here. Top speed of Logan McKinsey was 235 kilometers an hour. That's his top speed. Arthur Fertile was 232. Oof. Did a bit of closeness there between Fertile and McKinsey. Kev is still there. For Fertile. Jump on board through Abbey. The rawness of the noise of the cars come through. Fertile got a great run there through Priory up against Logan. Can he go around the outside of here? Brooklyn's Kev's back in the hunt again there, really late on the brakes. The Honda's very good on the brakes. Kev on the inside. He kept sneaking up the inside. Can he? No. Oof. That would have door left open there. That would have been a cat among the pigeons. As Arthur just lost a little bit of ground there to Logan. As they start the final lap of the race, Sven Winton is now 4 seconds clear and just slapped in a 59.17. An almightily quick lap. It was a dirty one with the off track, but it was still there as a speed token. Got himself in a great position. As we watch this battle to the line, as the last lap is here, which is the battle for second with McKinsey, Fertile and Aylett overall. Wayne Douglas is 2 seconds back from Aylett, so I don't think he's going to get anywhere near this, unfortunately. And to get himself in the mix, but Fertile will be doing everything he can to get himself into that position. As they come down to Stowe. Into the sunset. Glorious time of night. Into the club chicane. Good defensive driving from Logan's positions. Can't reach, but Fertile killed up the inside. Little tap on the rear. I'm not sure if it was a tap. I mean, he's pulled out of it. Pull out game was strong from Fertile. Can he go again as they come down to the Abbey chicanes? There's really only one corner left to make a move, and it's going to be a big move from this far back on this final lap. Which is the Abbey chicane. Kev is still there. Down towards Bridge. This is the breaking point for Priory. Do you dare send it deep? And just a bit too far back. Just a bit too far back. I don't think there's going to be any other opportunities here now, unfortunately, for Arthur Fertile into the last corner of Luffield. We're going to jump onto Sven Winton as he takes the checkered flag to win the feature race. Strong performance from him there. And a good race win there for Mr. Sven Winton. Mackenzie Queen's home second with Fertile third and Aylett in fourth on track and wins the Pro-Ams. Douglas brings it home third. Craig Walters brings it sixth on track, second in class. And Stuart Gibbons sneaks in for third place there. With a massive gain from the back of the grid from the start of this race to finish third in class and seventh on the road. Paul Hurley, Scott Malcolm, Tony Walker and Andy Littler all complete up there. Whew. That was absolute bonkers racing. So we watched Tony Walker come over the line to finish in 11th place. I'm going to find just something just to watch replays while the results are gathered up, as I've lost my buttons. Now, there was an incident on the first lap, I believe, and we are just going to check that out now with what happened on the start of the race. Oops, we are in rapid mode. Apologies there, chaps. Let's just reset that to come out. So having been Dan Lewis and Neil Stevenson on lap 1. Before we get our confirmed results of everyone up. Here we go. This is the race starts. So Dan Lewis in the green Audi comes into the inside. Oh, yeah. That's not going to go down too well. And then, so it wasn't Neil Stevenson, was it? It was Daniel Lewis against. We wouldn't normally do this. We're going to rewind this. Neil Stevenson was the one that hit the car at the end. It was Cooper Akers, sorry. Just taking the defensive line, the boxing line. That was a gap. I don't think it was going to be there, Mr. Lewis. Nope. Bounces off the wall, sends it across. He's on the brakes, and that's a roll. That's yeah, yeah. Ouch. Is what we'll say to that one. Paul Hurley went off track early on. Not sure what that was. Let's have a look. Bouncing across the course there. Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel. Did well to recover it, and that was Ayla in front who wisely backed out of it all and let him slide his way around. Probably the most of them choice. Look at this, it's 3 wide down here. Malcolm, Kelly, Hurley. They come round. A lot of, oh yeah, Kelly got a big slide on there and he got overtaken. Everyone was on the absolute limit there. Let's have a look at Fraser Elphick had an off track apparently. Left hand side of Wayne Douglas. Bit of contact and a bit of. Oh! Now that was an interesting one. Douglas showed Vidor to Fraser. We'll have a look at that one again, I think. That one there. Douglas said just powering up, yeah, giving him no room on exit, and Fraser comes across. Just misjudged the rejoin potentially, because it's hard to do when you're bouncing across the curb. We'll leave that to everyone else to McKinsey, because we knew where we finished. Just about avoided that one. As we look at the on-board, that's what he would have seen as he comes round to that corner. Dan Lewis had a crash apparently. So look at Dan Lewis, not sure what happened here. He has got no significant parts on his car, and the back end just goes, see you later. I'm going to go around the national layout. And Fraser Elphick is, that's what we've just seen. Mark Kelly went off track. I think we saw this. The car's glistening to the sun. Runs a bit wide. Clayton Buller gives him the old heave-ho off the track there. That won't have gone down too well, I imagine. There's contact. Oh, Mark Kelly into the back of Winter, into the back of Clayton. And then Clayton coming across the track. And then rejoins. Still there. Okay, so they came together. So it's technically teammates a few times there. Stuart Gibbons is showing us in a crash. Let's have a look here. Wayne Douglas on his inside. Oh yeah, Stuart Gibbons just lost it and clipped the back of Tony Walker. I mean, the fact that Stuart Gibbons came back from there is pretty impressive, to say the least. We've Tony Walker is had an instance as well. There's Tony Walker running down the hangar straight. Not sure what happened to Tony actually, to us. It looks like he's a bit damaged. I think he might have got a little tap off Stuart Gibbons earlier on, and that tap was just enough to give him a meatball potentially, because his car don't look the most stable, unfortunately. Dick Crowther and Mark Kelly. Apparently this is an overtake coming up. Not sure where exactly happens here. The camera violently vibrates. So there's an overtake that's happened here, but we've not seen it. Action packed behind. If you watch this through. Okay. Nothing really happened there. I'll be honest, Scott Malcolm went off track. Oh, this looks interesting. Can we see it any sooner? I don't know if we can. I think this is just happening now, so that means that we're going to do that. This is Sven Winton. Oh, Sven Winter. Oh, that's a significant contact into Priory. Just got away with it damage-free, but he will not be happy about the way that happened. Sven Winter went off track, apparently. It's probably just a last corner one. Nick Crowther went off track. Inside gap. Oh, I tell you one, that was a clip on the inside of Cooper. Went for a door. Went for a gap. Almost wasn't there. It was there, but it was very forceful. How that car got through that gap is another matter. Look at Owen Douglas going off track. It's like a regulation cops corner. So look at this for there. Nick Crowther, Clayton Buller, Paul Hurley. Crowther sneaking up inside. Good move from Crowther. That's a good bit of driving there. Really good positioning. Oh, there's contact there. Oh. Yeah, that's how I was going to rewind that one back for you just to see that again. There's your body on the left, Crowther on the right. I think Clayton was coming up inside and just contact. Oh, dear me. That is a mess. Is the only way I can describe it. And poor Mark Kelly was just a sitting duck, to put it simply. I mean, oh. Crowther snuck through the gap there, I do not know. He probably had some damage there himself, but that was absolute crazy. Oops, wrong one. What could he be disappointed by that, to be honest? Why is it not giving us anyone to look at? Just... So I'm not playing ball right now, I'm afraid. 1 second. There we go. So that is, I think, all the incidents from the race. It is. All the ones that are flagged up anyway. So that was interesting, to say the least. A few big accidents there at the end of the race. To certainly discuss and talk about within the Discord, and various communities about themselves there. Yeah. So let's have a look at the results from the feature race. So we've not had a chance to really look at it yet, as everyone was just getting them sorted for ourselves. Okay, here we come. The results. It's the pros. Sven Winter wins the pro division, the pro division for the race and the overall race. For that one, 4.2 seconds ahead of Logan McKinsey, who was just 0.2 ahead of Arthur Fertel. And Wayne Douglas was a further 3 seconds back there. Unfortunately, Tom Woodcock didn't take the start of the feature, so he was not classified. Pro-Ams, always a battle here. The winner for his first win of the season, Kev Aylett, 5 seconds clear of Craig Walters, who was a further 5 seconds ahead of Stuart Gibbons, who we saw in the replays there, had an eventful race, ended up going round once and still finished in third. Cooper Akers come home in fourth. He had a tough race himself. A couple of contacts. Nothing crazy, but just didn't seem to have the pace in that second race. Tony Walker, we saw some damage, possibly from the Stuart Gibbons spinneroo. Daniel Lewis got back out on track to finish a lap behind and gets classified. And unfortunately, Crowther, McBullough, Elphick, Stevenson are not classified finishers, so will not accumulate any points. Into the AMS. Paul Hurley takes the win. First place for him by 10 seconds over Scott Malcolm, who gets his second place of the night. Over Andy Littler, who also was classified on the same lap. A minute 25 behind, but it doesn't matter where it was. He was still there and gets the podium. Mark Kelly not classified, as we saw with that accident 7 laps from the end. Okay, so that basically moves us on to the championship, and we can get you an updated championship now. Let's look at the teams first. The gap has come closer. No changes in positions, which is surprising, actually. But the SRL Green Team retain their lead, but now only 9 points ahead of JS Froome. And JS Tryhards at 599, move a little bit further ahead of Altitude Esports. Blade Designs, 432 points, and Next Said Green haven't changed, so they didn't race. And then Share Esports of Sven Winter move up 2 places ahead of the JS Pretenders, who had Paul Hurley out on track today, and Lumen Motorsport of Scott Malcolm. Then they are the Pretenders and Lumen are only 10 points difference between the two of them. Should we show you the Pro Championship? In first place, Logan McKenzie stretching that lead further. 608 points after first of 492. I say stretch it further, it's actually dropped by 123 points, so they're now 116 points. So after taking 8 points out of Logan this weekend, he won't be too bothered by that. John Brown retains his third place, even though he wasn't on track. So Winter moves all the way up to fourth with 315 points now. Tom Woodcock drops place to fifth with 278 points, and Delmont drops place. Obviously, they didn't get any points to start those drivers. Wayne Douglas moves all the way up to seventh, 3 places gained with 226 points. And everyone else we did not see out on track. So it's still close up at the front between those boys, Mackenzie and Fertile. It's just a case of who has got the mustard to get to the end. However, the Pro-Ams, as we know, is looking very tight still. Cooper Akers maintains that lead with 389 points. Craig Walters is still second with 347. Dan Lewis retains the third place of 336. The biggest joint mover of the night is Kevin and Tony Walker, who both move up to fourth and fifth respectively. 321 points and 315 points respectively. They are very much there in thereabouts on the top boys in that division. David Dejay, who we did not see tonight, is 260 points. Neil Stevenson, 272. Disappointing weekend for him. He'll be a bit didn't quite get what he needed out of that. No over to Dave Crowther, no over to Stuart Gibbons, unfortunately. Stuart Gibbons was looking probably forward to getting some big points on the board of his pace, but just didn't quite gel the way he wanted to tonight. They stay there on 204 points. Everyone else did not trade to track apart from Clayton McBullough, who gets his first points of the season there with 34 points, but will retain and stay in 15th place as expected because he's new to the league with tonight. The AMs, we're liking the way the AMs are hotting up. Paul Hurley stays the leader by 9 points over Scott Malcolm. Andy Littler moves up to third now with 106 points. Jack Davis, Nick Scotty, who we didn't see, with a fourth and fifth, and Mark Kelly getting his first points on the board to move to 6th place. Good start from him. Whew. Are we all excited about that? Because that was mega. Silverstone always performs, whether it's new or old. There's always an action-packed race at Silverstone. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. It certainly was entertaining. Certainly saw a lot of different classes racing together at different points of the track. And I think the last race there really highlighted how good a reverse grid can be when you've got drivers in different classes all getting close together on the last lap of the race and making it a spectacle to watch. And that's what we want to see, is some good hard racing at the front and say people just doing the right thing. A few talking points certainly we've seen there in some of the incidents in the race. That's always gets decided in the steward's room, no doubt. So that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast. My name's been Kev, been your host, been my pleasure as always. And you've been watching the premium TCR League for a Friday night on iRacing, the SRL TCR League Season 8. We'll see you next week at Zolder. So 11 PM next week you can see this race. So Zolder is your next race. And if you want to find out a little more how to race in this league, head to jasracing.com/SRL-season-8 for a link to the Discord and how to enter. There is still places. Yes, this is round 5, but we still want people to come race for us because there will be more seasons to come as well and having an ever larger grid. So we hope to see you from the wonderful track of Zolder next week. Take care of yourselves, enjoy, and good racing on track. Goodbye.